8x10s, how much you charge? If I brought my phone in.
Yeah. I don't
Bob,
know
are you
when.
planning on scheduling the meetings on
Well, I know you can go to Walgreens and do it, but I figured
Fine with
they
me?
need a bunch of trophy parts.
What is that for?
Oh, nice to meet you.
On behalf
I, when they are put that in, I don't know what
of RCCI.
letters.
Must be for East Girls fundraiser, maybe?
City Council meeting will now come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand for invocation, Councilman Higgs.
Heavenly Father, we come before you saying, Lord, thank you for another day we've never seen before. We ask for all your blessings, Lord. We ask that you guide us and direct us in this meeting to do it decent and in order to give you all the glory and all the praise and all the honor. We ask for all these blessings in your Son, Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Also, I would like a condolence sent out to the Smith family. Miss Cornice Smith passed away, and she was funeralized on Saturday. And very active in the community and someone who I really love. So condolences to the Smith family. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Item 3 on the council, City Clerk Golick, roll call, please.
Spitali. Here. Venez.
Here.
Galwinski.
Here.
Torres. Higgs.
Here.
Emerson.
Here.
Warple.
Here.
Rakels.
Here.
Markovich.
Here, let the record show 9 here, 0 absent. Item 3, reading of the minutes. Councilman
President,
Talley.
make a motion to accept the minutes from September 9, 2019, be placed on file, please.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Spitali, second by Councilman Emerson, that the minutes be placed on file. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Approval of claims, Councilman Warple.
I make a motion, we approve the claims as written, beginning with claim dated 9/10/19 and ending with claims dated 9/18/19, claim 5072 through claim 5397 inclusive, in the amount of $3,089,666.32.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Warple, second by Councilman Rakos, that the claims be approved. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Warple.
I also need to amend in claim 5398 to the Central Hammond Fire Station open house for $100. 5399 to the Central Fire Station open house for $200. And claim 5400 to the Battle of 119th Street Barbecue in the amount of $100, and that's all coming from council promotional.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Warple, second by Councilman Rakos, that the claims be amended as stated. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? A roll call on the amendments.
Spitali.
Yes.
Venez.
Yes.
Galwinski.
Yes.
Torres.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Markovich.
Yes, so 9 in favor, 0 absent, as amended. Now, the claims as amended with the additions. Roll call.
Spitali.
Yes.
Venez.
Yes.
Galwinski.
Yes.
Torres.
Yes.
Higgs,
Yes.
Emerson,
Yes.
Warple,
Yes.
Rakos,
Yes.
Markovich.
Yes, claims approved, 9 in favor, 0 absent. Item 5 is public hearings. We have none. Communications, are there any communications? Any communications?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I just wanted to personally thank Kwan's Barbecue and also the minister for assisting in feeding the homeless. We had an opportunity on last week to feed the homeless in Chicago, and it was a great success, and I really appreciate their efforts, and we will continue to do what's needed in the community.
Any other communications? Any other communications? Any other communications? Item 7, committee reports.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
yes, at this time, I would like to read the upcoming Community and Crime Watch meetings that will take place before our next council meeting. On Wednesday, October 2nd, Edison Community Watch will meet at Edison School beginning at 6:30 p.m. On Friday, October 4th, Irving Community Watch will meet at Irving School at 9:15 a.m. That is a bilingual program. Pulaski Park Neighborhood Association will meet Tuesday, September 24th at the American Legion on Goslin, beginning at 6:30 p.m. And that is it. I encourage everyone to come out to a community or crime watch meeting, find out what's going on in your neighborhood, and learn safety tips on how you can keep your family and your property safe. Because community is not just about me, it's about us. Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other committee reports?
Mr. President,
Councilman Warple.
council as a whole will be bringing out 1918A.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay,
1918.
right, okay.
Okay, any other committee reports? Okay, item 8, ordinances for third and final passage.
Ordinance number 19-18, sponsored by Councilwoman Vines. An ordinance amending ordinance 3456, 3851, 3947, 4304, 4307, 4588, 4942, 7658, 8383, 8552, 8552, 8602, 8814, 8889, 8893, 9197, 9204, 9208, and 9209, also known as sections 150.005, 150.024, 150.025, 150.027, 150.045, 156.11, and 156.20 of the Hammond Municipal Code as it pertains to certain fees and procedures of the Inspections Department relating to building contractors and permits.
Councilwoman Vines.
Yes, Mr. President. I move for final passage of 1918.
Motion by Councilwoman Vines, second by? Second by Councilman Spitali for final passage of 19-18. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Vines.
I would like to replace 1918 with 1918A in its entirety.
Motion by Councilwoman Vines, second by? Second. Councilman Warple to replace 19A with 1918A, I'm sorry, replace 1918 with Amendment 19-18A. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Vines.
This ordinance pertains to the fees for the Inspections Department. It brings our fees in line with other municipalities. There are several items that it addresses. There is additional language to differentiate between residential and commercial stop orders. It now will be required within 12 hours to report an incident involving serious injury or damage reasonably believed to be $5,000 or more, or that had to be reported to another agency, to the building commissioner, or face an immediate stop work order. Clarify how building permit amounts are calculated. Make wrecking permits, sprinkling system permits, and plumbing permits to be calculated the same as building permits. Plumbing permits are more in line with what other communities charge. There is a change in procedure for criminal background checks due to the change in technology. Changes the mandatory denial of a license language to discretionary by the building contractors board, and it also adds a temporary license fee of $250. All of these changes have the potential to generate between $200,000 and $400,000 of additional revenue.
Any other discussion?
Mr. President,
Mayor?
before I get started, I wanted to welcome a bunch of students from Munster High School who came over here to watch the Hammond Council meeting, so wanted to point that out before we started. I also wanted to point out a few things that Councilwoman Vanessa spoke about regarding this change to go into the building code. If you guys will remember, Hammond High School had a wall collapse that we didn't find out about as a building department or as a city administration for over 2 weeks after it happened. This would require immediate notification of anything over, I want to say $5,000. Is that true, Councilwoman? Mm-hmm. Anything over $5,000. And this also repeals an ordinance that was passed a long time ago in Hammond about somebody that was convicted of any type of, basically it could have been a misdemeanor battery, would be forever barred from pulling a building permit in the city of Hammond again. We had a case where a gentleman that works for the federal government and was building Starbucks had like a battery when he was a teenager. He was old enough to get a battery, but he had a battery, and under our ordinance, we couldn't issue him a building permit, which is ridiculous because obviously this happened decades ago and this person was barred permanently. So it changes that language as well. And as the councilwoman points out, it also brings Hammond's building department in line with other communities. When I say other communities, I'm talking about the Munsters and the Highlands of the world. We're not higher than them. We're right in the same ballpark as them as far as what they charge and how frequently they charge. So I just wanted to point that out.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs?
Mayor, what are the differential amounts of the fees from different cities, if you know?
Councilwoman, do you have those on you? I don't have it on me right now. But we intentionally set the rates to like the same that Highland, I think we're exactly the same as what Munster charges. We're a little bit lower than Highland, and Gary actually was way higher than all of them. So we intentionally kept ourselves in the same ballpark as our peers. I don't have them on me right now. Do you, Councilwoman?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Vanessa?
Yes, for the town of Highland, permit fees on a $3,000 job cost, hold on, let me see. $1,000 for, $100 to $1,000 valuation. Let me see. Hammond's existing permit fee is $72. The new permit fee will be $80. The new inspection fee will be $50 for a total of $130. Compared to Munster, theirs was $127. Hammond's existing permit fee is $72. The new permit fee is $80, new inspection fee of $50 for a total of $130. Gary's is $230. Hammond's existing permit fee is $72, new permit fee $80, and new inspection fee for a total of $130.
Mr. President?
I'm sorry, Mayor.
It's not gouging at all. It's just updating. We haven't updated these, Councilman Mark, since we've been here.
Mr. President,
Councilman Kowinski?
do we have any idea what our annual revenue is now from these fees?
I'm sure we did when Heather was here, but I know that this raises an extra 200 to 400.
And will that go back into the general
Yes, sir.
fund or the
I
building
think the way it
department?
was split up is, it all, for our purposes, it's all the same. But I think 200,000 was supposed to go directly to the inspections department, and the other 200,000 was going to go into the general fund. But for our purposes, it's all the same, right? But we used to have it in the inspections department where it supported itself. And that was before the Indiana Supreme Court got involved and said that it was, it was the Indiana General Assembly that got involved and told us that we could no longer charge $80 per rental. Since that time, they've been living off the general fund. So I believe it's split equally, Councilman. I apologize for not knowing the number off the top of my head.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
Kevin, Attorney Kevin Smith, you probably can clarify that in terms of the differential between the amounts and the fees between the cities. He said how much would go to the general fund. Do you have?
I just answered that, Councilman.
I thought it wasn't clear as to what he requested. So I thought maybe Kevin had more answers to that, seeing he's the attorney.
Councilman, I believe the mayor did answer it correctly, and I would echo what the mayor said. I really don't have anything more to add except that, as the mayor answered, these fees as generated mostly go to the general fund. Just for the council's further information, the supermajority of the increase is due to a inspection fee of $50 that is not currently in city ordinance, but is in every other city or town across Lake County. And that will help generate a substantial amount of funds. And I echo what the mayor said. It's mostly going to go to the general fund.
Any other questions? Okay. We've passed 19-18A as amended, is that correct,
No.
Clerk?
No.
We need to vote on that.
Okay, any other discussion?
Call for the vote.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Roll call.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Torres. Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Markovich.
Yes, motion passes 9 in favor, 0 absent.
Is that the motion?
That was the motion to amend. We have
Motion
to,
to amend in 19A, okay. 19A as amended passes. Now final passage and adoption of 19-18A as, or 18 as amended. Roll call.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Torres.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Markovich.
Yes, 19-18 passes as amended.
President Markovich, that concludes the ordinances for final passage.
Okay, item number 9 on the agenda is introductions of ordinances.
Item A, ordinance 19-19, sponsored by Councilman Rakos. An ordinance establishing inspections and planning departments, conflict of interest rules, and reporting procedure.
Mr. President,
Councilman Rakos.
I move to pass by first and second reading ordinance number 19-19.
Second.
Is there a committee you want to put it to, please?
No.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
for clarity, I guess it should go into council as a whole. I mean,
My motion does not include going into a committee.
Motion by Councilman Rakos, second by Councilwoman Vines, that 19-19 be passed on first and second reading. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Ayes have it. Councilman Rakos.
resolutions. Go into resolutions.
We're on 19-19, is
The
that correct?
resolution.
That's correct, Mr.
We
President.
just
We just
passed.
passed it.
It's an
First and
ordinance.
second reading.
It was the introduction of 1919.
But he still did not want a committee.
No,
Okay, I just assumed that he was going to try and pass it on 3 readings tonight.
I know
No.
what they say about assume.
Okay, thank you,
President Markovich, that concludes the introduction of ordinances.
thank you. Item 10, resolutions.
Item A, Resolution 19R-24, sponsored by Councilman Emerson. A resolution confirming the appointment of Christopher P. Jones as a Commissioner of the Hammond Historic Preservation Commission of the City of Hammond, Indiana.
Mr. President,
Councilman Emerson.
I move for final passage of Resolution 19R-24.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Emerson, second by Councilman Higgs for final passage of 19R-24. Any discussion?
Mr. President.
Councilman Emerson.
Yeah, Chris Jones is starting, will be starting, if passed, his 3rd term. He's super involved in Hammond and has been, former restaurateur, as we talked about, and has been on the Historic Preservation Commission for 2 terms and cares deeply about the city. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Call for the vote.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Roll call.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes,
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Torres.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Markovich.
Yes, resolution 19R-24 passes 9 in favor, 0 absent.
Item B, Resolution 19R-25, sponsored by Councilman Higgs. A resolution confirming the reappointment of Patrick Swibes as a Commissioner of the Hammond Historic Preservation Commission of the City of Hammond, Indiana.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I move for final passage of Resolution 19R-25. I so move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Higgs, second by Councilman Spitali for final passage and adoption of 19R-25. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
yes,
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Torres.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Markovich.
Yes. Resolution 19R-25 passes 9 in favor, 0 absent.
Item C, Resolution 19R-26, sponsored by Councilman Emerson. A resolution confirming the reappointment of Ann T. Anderson as a Commissioner of the Hammond Historic Preservation Commission of the City of Hammond, Indiana.
Mr. President,
Councilman Emerson.
I move for passage of Resolution 19R-26.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Emerson, second by Councilman Higg for final passage and adoption of 19R-26. Is there any discussion? Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Emerson.
I would like to say that Ann is starting her 2nd term, and she has a great interest in the city. She called me and left me a message. She had a previous commitment tonight and could not be here, but she is very invested in the history of Hammond and been active and been on many of the tours that they do for Civil War veterans, and also just a tour of the historic Oak Hill Cemetery and all the other things that the Historic Preservation Committee does. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
yes,
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Torres.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakels.
Yes.
Markovich.
Yes. 19R-26 passes 9 in favor, 0 absent.
Item D, Resolution 19R-27, sponsored by Councilman Rakels. A resolution adopting the Lake County Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan.
Mr. President,
Councilman Rakos.
move for passage of 19R-27.
second,
Motion by Councilman Rakos, second by Councilwoman Vines for final passage and adoption of 19R-27. Any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Rakos.
this is a resolution to join with the rest of Lake County in a multi-hazard mitigation plan. It also will include any federal disaster. And basically what it will do is we'll be able to, it's through Homeland Security, it's required by them, and we will be able to be reimbursed if we wind up helping another jurisdiction, as well as they'll be able to reimburse and come into our jurisdiction to help us.
Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Roll call.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Torres.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Markovich.
Yes. Final passage and adoption of Resolution 19R-27.
Item E, Resolution 19R-28, sponsored by Councilman Higgs. A resolution confirming the reappointment of Debbie McGough as a commissioner of the Hammond Historic Preservation Commission of the City of Hammond, Indiana.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I move for final passage of Resolution 19R-28. I so move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Higgs, second by Councilman Spitali for final passage and adoption of 19R-28. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Roll call.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Torres. Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Warple.
Yes.
Rakos.
Yes.
Yes.
Markovich.
19R-28, 9 in favor, 0 absent.
President Markovich, that concludes the reading of the resolutions.
Next will be new and unfinished business. For anybody out in the audience, if you're not familiar with procedures here at the City Council meeting, item 12 will be public expression. If anybody wishes to speak on any title, subject, or whatever, there's a sign-in sheet there. You're welcome to sign in, state your title and address, and you'll be able to speak before the council for 3 minutes.
Mr. President,
New and unfinished business. Councilman Higgs.
I just want to announce that within the next week or so, me and a couple of people from within the city will be actually feeding the homeless in the City of Hammond and trying to help them in any way we can to provide anything that's needed. So I look forward to doing that, and if anyone's interested in volunteer, please feel free to give me a call, because it's not about me, it's about us.
Any other new and unfinished business?
Mr. President,
Councilman Emerson.
tomorrow, September 24th, Tuesday, we will be unveiling the honorary Dairy Bell street sign. It will be called Dairy Bell Lane at 171st Street in Calumet at 3 p.m. If you're interested, please stop by and wish them well. They've been here next year for 70 years in Hammond. And ice cream. Not, well, maybe. I don't know.
That's tomorrow?
Yes, sir, Tuesday.
Bring the grandkids.
Any other new and unfinished business?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Vines.
I would like to invite everyone to Coffee with a Cop. That is Wednesday, September 25th, from 5 to 7 p.m. at Johnell's Restaurant. This is a great opportunity for you to meet some of the police officers who patrol our streets and protect our neighborhoods. You can buy them a cup of coffee or just sit there and shoot the breeze. It's a very informal setting, but it's also very fun to get to know some of the police officers who serve and protect us. Thank you.
Any other new and unfinished business?
Mr. President,
Councilman Vines. I'm sorry. Emerson.
from the Lake County Solid Waste Management Board, we have coming up in Hammond, and I'll try to announce this again before October 26th, the hazardous waste collections. It will be Saturday, October 26th, at the Hammond Public Works, 601 Conkey Street, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So that would be paint and other things that you're not supposed to dump in the alley anymore. Also, the same time and the same date, October 26th, 9 to 2, a shred event. So if you have old bills and things that you don't want to recycle normally, you can have them shred. The same place, Hammond Public Works, 601 Conkey Street, from 9 to 1. And we'll try to announce that again maybe at our next couple meetings. Thank you.
Any other new and unfinished?
Mr. President.
Councilwoman Vanessa.
Yes, I would just like to comment on Councilman Emerson's announcement about the hazardous waste disposal. The mayor is going to have some stickers put on our recycling bins to let all of our residents know exactly what can go in those recycling bins. And the items that the Lake County Solid Waste will be collecting on October 26th are certainly not items that go in our recycling bins. My husband and I recently cleaned out our garage and had all of this stuff, cleaners, spray paint and things like that. And I said, let's go over to Highland so we can get this stuff out of the way. They had a line down Kennedy Avenue of people who were disposing of paint and oil and things of that nature. So please go on the Lake County Solid Waste website and look up some of the items that you can dispose of at these events. I was very impressed. I was very impressed with the recycling dedication of the people in Northwest Indiana. And I would just encourage those who live in Hammond to do the same. Thank you very much.
Mr. President? Oh, I'm sorry.
Mayor?
Councilman, I was going to be on the same topic. Do you want me to wait, or?
I just wanted to add to what Councilwoman said. You can also call, if you want to go on the internet, Angela Goodson at 219-853-2420 to find out what you can recycle or what you cannot, or do away with.
Yeah.
Mayor?
Mr. President, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you pointing that out. Although I was looking over the next 2 weeks if we had any announcements coming up. We don't really have, but that is October 24th. We're doing a recycling summit. Obviously, we'd love to have the council and the clerk present. It's at the Sportsplex. We're going to televise it because one of the things we're not doing right in Hammond is we're recycling poorly. Our percentage of recycling is higher as compared to normal communities, which tells us we don't know how to recycle properly. So we bought 25,000 stickers that we're going to put on every recycling bin throughout the city of Hammond. I put it on Facebook, what it looks like. They're in the order right now. They're crystal clear. I love it. I had one copy of it. I put it on my recycling bin at home, but it answers a lot of the questions like, do you need to pull the sticker off of the Aquafina bottle and stuff like that? Do you need to have the cap on or should the cap be off? Just simple questions. And then the Recycling Summit, we're going to talk about facts and figures in Hammond and about when we mess up, how much extra it costs us. And you could also see when we went to Republic Recycling, when we went to Single Stream, how much our landfill costs dropped. And at the same time, our recycling rate went up. The problem is once it gets there, they're having trouble. Once they recycle it and bundle it, they're having trouble getting rid of it at that point. So, but we do need to do a better job in Hammond of recycling. When we proposed the possibility of cutting recycling, there was a huge backlash from the residents, and I got the message that we want to keep it. We just want to learn how to do it better. So this is why we're doing the Recycling Summit. This is why we're doing the stickers. I hope you could all support us on that, and I hope the residents that are watching will be there so that we could have a good forum, and we could ask the questions that need to be asked and televise it so that we could watch it a year from now, or maybe we could play it in the schools so the kids will learn how to recycle better, because if the kids know how to recycle, then the parents recycle better also. So thank you for pointing that out, Councilwoman.
Mr. President,
Councilman Warple?
I went to that tour of the recycling place, and I learned a bunch. A half a cup of coffee thrown in a recycling bin can ruin a whole bin of recycling. And I was actually shocked at how much stuff, even after it goes into the recycling bin, can actually contaminate and make the stuff we're supposed to be recycling have to go to landfills anyway. So I encourage everybody to come out to this summit at the Sportsplex on the 24th, or at least watch it, because I'm 58 years old, and believe me, I think I know everything, and I found out I didn't know nothing the other day when we went there, so it was very educational, and I encourage everybody to come to it.
Any other new?
One other item, that, in conjunction with the hockey rink and the mayor, a request, we're gonna be setting up a meeting in sometime in October with the residents over there about the traffic flow.
Mr. President?
Council, I'm
Thank
sorry,
you for
Mayor.
pointing it out, Councilman Warple. I want everybody to know we're not opening the ice rink until we have a solid answer on how to protect the neighborhood over there from the traffic that's going to be generated by the ice rink. It seems like it's a relatively easy fix. I know the councilman's been in on the discussions, but it will require a traffic change. And we have to do this if we want to protect those neighbors on Arizona and
Arizona, Arkansas, the 73
right.
and 400 blocks,
Right.
Alabama.
Because if we don't put up some type of traffic device, then theoretically, everybody that leaves the ice rink or everybody that goes to the ice rink will shoot down Arizona to get there even quicker than, taking the other routes. So we do need to do that, and it needs to happen before the ice rink is open, Councilman. And I know I'm going to reiterate that with Dean and with my chief of staff so we can make sure that everything's ready at the same time. But they are putting the walls up at the ice rink as we speak, so.
Yeah. And I've been asked by a couple of residents, when we were going to meet on this, and we haven't forgot about it.
No.
We've been discussing it. They've fallen a little bit behind because of the weather, and I will personally walk around flyers in that neighborhood for whatever day we finally get it all straightened out for the meeting.
And traffic changes are somewhat controversial, as Councilman Mark and I just realized in the first district, but I think this traffic change is definitely needed. If we don't have some type of traffic control device over by the ice rink, it'll change the quality of life for everybody in that neighborhood. So I agree totally with Councilman Werpel on that point.
Mr.
other-
President,
Councilman Higgs.
I had a question for the mayor. Since I started walking again throughout my district, a lot of the residents are wondering, when is the park going to be completed? The
Thank you.
MLK Park, because it's a wonderful project, and
Yes,
it's
sir.
the last project that I had the pleasure of getting
Yes, sir.
done within my district, and I'm really excited about it.
Me
And
too.
so the residents want to know, and so when I knock on their doors in the near future, they will have an idea when the ribbon cutting is.
Thanks, Councilman. I agree with you. It's frustrating. We did it. We knew it was going to be in phases, and obviously, we all wanted it done by November. I'm still pushing real hard for it to be done by November, but it will be done before you leave as a councilman. But it is moving slower than than I'm comfortable with as well. And I'm sure you see it just like I do every day when I drive by it. I know they got the memorial park to Dr. King. It looks really good right now, and they're working on the new playground equipment. They're working on the new splash pad as we speak. But it should be done before the end of the year. Obviously, we won't be using it until March, April. So, but Councilman, it should be done before the end of the year. Thank you for asking. And it's going to be beautiful. That's a great thing.
Any other discussion?
Not on that, but a different topic.
Right. Any other new and unfinished business?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Vanez?
I just wanted to point out that for the month of October, our council meetings have changed. The first meeting will be October 7th, and the second meeting will be October 21st. Thank you.
Any other new and unfinished business? In light of that, I would refer to my letter sent out to everybody, members of the council, department heads, Times, Tribune, and CR Publications, August 14, 2020 budget hearings. It was suggested at the time we have budget hearings with the department heads on Saturday, October 15th, 9 a.m. in the council chambers.
October 5th.
I'm sorry, October 5th, the council chambers, with discussion with the mayor and administration and several councilmen. Would like to make a motion that October 5th, I would entertain a motion that meeting would be canceled and work with the controllers.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I make a motion that we cancel the meeting scheduled for October 5th with the department heads of the City of Hammond. I so move.
Motion by Councilman Higgs, second by? Second by? Second by Councilman Warple. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Vanez.
I request that proper notice go out to all those concerned. all the department heads, the newspapers, and radio that were originally notified on the memo of August 14th.
Thank you.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
certainly, Councilwoman Veneers, you can announce it on your Crime Watch at WJLB, and certainly the Hammond Times, you can notify them as well. I've seen that. Haven't seen them in quite some time. I see the young lady here from the Post, but the Hammond Times I haven't seen in a long time.
Proper notice will be sent out. I'll make sure that's taken care of. Any other discussion?
Yes, Councilman Higgs, the Edison Community Watch show on WJOB is strictly prohibited from speaking about anything political. It is just Crime Watch. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Thank you very much.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I beg to differ with you. During the election season, you had a number of people on your show.
Call for the motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Ayes have it. Any other new and unfinished business? In regards to one of my letters, September 5th, to all councilmen and councilpersons for the budget, a letter was sent out with the attached ordinance number 9417, which was the 2019 City Council budget. I suggested that, the budget would stay the same with additions and corrections and increases as by perf and so forth. Everybody received a letter on that same day, September 5th, from Heather Gray, the city controller. She's not here right now, but we had discussion in the council office. We all received a budget form 1 from her. We all received that. I asked for anybody if they would make any additions, corrections, or substitutions for that. I am going to submit that to her for the 2020 budget, and I'm going to meet with her to make sure that we get, these positions that we're asking for and so forth, and that the council has a budget that they can work with and take care of and do what they have to do in order to work with the mayor and administration and with the city council budget to serve the taxpayers here in Hammond. Any discussion on that?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I'm trying to really understand what are you trying to convey to us, because we are all aware of the budget, but what is it something you're interested in including in the budget or something missing in the budget?
There's been some discussion and discrepancies for the city council budget, whether we had the information and positions for the council office to function in an orderly manner, and just in case of sickness and absenteeism and so forth, to make sure that the council office is covered so to serve the citizens. Any other discussion? All those Chair would entertain a motion that I meet with the city controller and address that with her with the budget and make sure we have our budget in there. Mayor.
Mr. President.
Mr. President,
Mayor.
I prefer elected officials deal with elected officials. In light of comments to the city controller at the last meeting, I don't really feel comfortable with you all dealing directly with my employee like that. So if you have any, it's your budget. You put in what you want, we'll submit it.
Right.
Okay? I'd rather you and I deal with each other than you dealing with Heather, being honest with you.
I mean, I just want to make sure, I'm just making sure that, there's no
This
question.
is my understanding. Obviously, this is a big topic of conversation. My understanding is if you hire a second employee in the council office, we'll cover it for this year. And in next year's budget, if you submit it, it'll be there.
What's in there for this budget, I want
Good.
to make sure.
God
We had
bless.
that discussion, you met, whatever, just fine.
Yes, sir.
Just make it for a point of clarification here
No
on the
problem.
council floor.
No problem.
Thank you.
We're like totally cooperating
Mr. President.
with what
Mr.
the council
President.
submits. Totally cooperating. You submit what you submit. God bless America.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Councilwoman
Mr.
Venez.
I don't think the council floor is the place to have a discussion of this nature at this time. If you want to have a discussion amongst the council members regarding the Hammond City Council budget, I believe you should have a finance committee meeting.
Councilman Higgs.
I'm just all choked up, but in regards to that, I think we discussed it, Bob, in regards to the secretary's position. And again, as I stated previously, and I stated openly, and I want all minds and hearts to be clear, to serve all 9 council people, you have 3 at-larges that are supposed to serve the entire city, and then you have district councilmen.
for each district, and there are 6 districts in the city of Hammond. One secretary could not possibly do the job that's needed to provide the services for all the residents of this great city. Being a councilman is a very, very difficult job. Good luck to you all.
Mr. President,
Mayor?
thank goodness for Go Hammond TV. The city controller is watching. She's downstairs working on the budget as we speak. She texted me that she's already plugged in the numbers that you gave to her during her last meeting. I just wanted to let her know she replied, okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
And while we're talking about the budget, obviously you guys are going to do what you do. The budget that the city's turning in should be entered into Gateway by Friday, and it has $6 million in cuts and/or revenue increases with very few layoffs. $6 million is going to be less. We anticipate more cuts and revenue increases than the loss to the tax caps, which is good news to the council, good news to the city. It's in there. Obviously, you guys will see what we're talking about. I've met with each council person individually. You know the game plan. Heather's input in as we speak, and there will be job losses in the city, mostly in the clerk's office and in the judge's office, but that was something we've known for 3 years now. All the other spots are going to be eliminated through attrition. Obviously, you have the right as a council to add an employee. That's up to you. I just want to point out that if you're going to add an employee, I would hope that you would suggest or consider one of the employees that's losing their jobs, because they are. I'm sure Clerk Golick could probably give you great employees that would be more than adequate to fill any spots you create. I'm sure Judge Amy would be able to give you employees that are going to lose their jobs. But if you're going to create another position and fill it, I would just hope you would do it with somebody that's about to lose their job. That's my 2 cents. Thank
Mayor,
you.
point of clarification.
Sure.
It's not a new position. We've had it in our 2019 budget. I just want to
Okay.
reiterate it that
Okay.
we want it to be.
Council President.
We had people lined up. The job is being posted.
Okay.
They know the rules and regulations,
Okay.
what we requested, how
Right.
we
This is a
want
big
to fill it,
city.
and so forth.
And for instance, in Public Works, there's 15 spots that we haven't filled on purpose because we know cuts are coming. Can we fill those 15 spots? Yes, we can fill those 15 spots. We won't do it because it's bad business. So what we're doing is not hiring and trying to cut back because we have $6 million in losses facing us. So obviously, if it's in the budget, you could fill it. Nobody disputes that. And if your spot is in the budget, you could fill it. I get that. However, if you are going to fill it, all I'm asking is you consider the people that are losing their jobs. Like if you hire somebody off the street, that's a fail. If you hire a part-timer, that's a fail. I would hire somebody that's losing their job so that we can minimize the number of job losses that we're going to experience on December 31st, 2019. That's all I got to say.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
Mayor, from our meeting, my understanding was that in Gary Gleason's department, there were initially 15 positions that were not filled.
True.
And only 5 of them, so you will have enough manpower to serve the citizens of the city of Hammond are going to be filled.
Thanks for the question, Councilman. That's true. He had 15 open. I asked him to give us only 10 of them because we still got a job to do. And if we have to go deeper, we'll go deeper. But it's getting harder and harder to clean the streets and do all the stuff we have to do if we keep cutting manpower. But yeah, Gary did cut back, Councilman, correctly. You correctly pointed out Gary did have 15 saved up. I said fill 5 of them. We're going to take 10 in this year's budget. I thought that was great, by the way. Gary showed leadership, and I appreciate it because it makes my job easier when I'm submitting a budget to you all. So going back to the question of whether or not you guys need to meet on October 5th, we are meeting with the department heads. We're not just doing this in a vacuum. We're meeting, we're discussing, we're chopping. We know the tax caps are coming just like you guys. We're not turning in the same budget I turned in last year because that wouldn't be acceptable to you or to us. We're losing over $5 million to the tax caps, and the budget you see is going to reflect that, I promise. And we're trying to minimize the job losses. So going back to my original point, if you are going to hire somebody in a council office, please hire somebody that's losing their job because that's a pretty crappy Christmas present to give somebody. Hey, thank you for your service. Take care.
Just for a point of clarification, there are several other jobs being posted to be filled, and they have that option to go ahead and apply for any and all jobs that are posted by the city.
Mr. President?
Council, I'm sorry, Mayor.
I've been really working hard to get people hired from the clerk's office and from the judge's office. I've been very successful, quite frankly, but not totally successful because there's still people we're trying to get hired. So, and obviously, we can only hire Hammond residents, and there are some people that are grandfathered in going way back, but we are doing our best to hire the best employees to keep them. So I appreciate you pointing that out.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgins.
just for all minds and hearts, had I known that there was a position was going to pay as much as it does at the sports complex, I wouldn't have ran for councilman. I mean, seriously. I mean, good luck to those who think the job is just coming to the meetings, because if you really care about the people, it's a 365-day job, 24/7. That's if you care.
Any other new and unfinished business? Any other new and unfinished business? New and unfinished business is closed. Public expression. First Lady is Doreen Brown, 6743 Ohio. Benefit dinner for Maddie Welch.
Good evening, Mr. President, Councilman, Councilwoman. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit. I just wanted to ask for any help that any of you can give us. There is a young lady who happens to be my best friend's daughter. She is a 16-year-old girl. She's a student at Morton. She is honor roll, swim team, marching band, and involved in the Hammond Academy for the Performing Arts. She's a beautiful, bright young girl. She, sorry for my emotion, she's been diagnosed with congenital heart disease. The doctors at Advocate Hospital are going to try and repair her tricuspid valve. That's going to happen on December 16th. We are holding a benefit dinner on October 12th. It's a Saturday at the Optimist Club on Kennedy Avenue. $10 a ticket. Of course, we have flyers. I think all of you have been provided information on this. I would appreciate any help from any of the council, even if it's just to put up a flyer or share the Facebook page that we've made. That is Maddie's Broken Heart. I think that's all that I have for you, unless you have any questions.
I suggest you call on or do that app on WJLB. They have a 22-second app where you can announce it on there.
I will definitely do
Call the
that.
radio station, they'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah, we've had to put this together in a very short amount of time. She needs some dental work done. In order to have open heart surgery, you have to have good oral health. She's having 3 root canals. She does have Medicaid, but Medicaid doesn't cover everything. And so she needs 3 crowns, which is $2,100. She lost her father 9 years ago. Her mom and our small community has done everything we can to support them. And this is very trying for them. And we just need everybody to come out. Just come have a meal. Tell her good luck, anything. We just want it to get out there. She's a very special young lady. I know all kids are special. We've been friends since she was born. I've known her. That's her mom and I met in elementary school. I've had 4 children go through the system. I have a senior at Morton. She's my last one. And this is her best friend. So we're just looking for any help that you can give us, any little bit, if even it's just sharing the word. We would certainly appreciate all of your help.
What's the last name?
Her name? It's Madison Welch. They live on Missouri and Hussville. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll be there.
Next person is Knight, 3600 Sheffield Avenue. What's your first name, please?
F. Frenetta. I am F. Frenetta Knight. I want to say good evening to everyone sitting on the panel. I'm here tonight to try to make an appointment with my councilman of District 1. I want to discuss some things concerning our neighborhood. I called several times, and I was informed that I could probably talk to you tonight. However, I would like to know if I could make an appointment to speak with you. Thank you.
Thank you. George Stoya. General business.
Yeah, that's what he does. He cuts me short on this. George Stoya.
Never done that.
Yeah, not Bob. Yeah.
Time's up.
Last meeting, you guys appointed Bernie Graziola to replace Raimundo Garcia to the Tourism Board. And a week later, the Times finally got around to publishing it, and I was stunned to read, and I'm just going to read an excerpt and I have some excerpt articles here that I'd like to submit for inclusion in the record. There is a quote from Councilman Emerson. It says, Emerson said Monday, he and others decided Raimundo, was too much of a political distraction, and that Garcia injecting his personal views at the CVA board meetings was inappropriate. And it says, as a veteran, I don't approve of that. As a Vietnam vet, I can't. I know Ray's a nice guy and everything, but I didn't know that about him not reciting the pledge and folding his arms. You know, I don't understand that at all, because clearly that sounds very retaliatory to me and for exercising his First Amendment right. I cite just a couple cases here that are known. There's the flag burning case everybody heard about back in 1989. The majority of the Supreme Court ruled that while symbolic speech political in nature, is political in nature and can be expressed even at the expense of our national symbol to the affront of those who disagree with it. And I just don't understand. I mean, it's okay for Ray. I mean, it's not okay for Mr. Garcia to express his personal views, but it's okay for the councilman to do so? Really? Come on, man. And then back in 1990, it says if there's a bedrock principle underlying the First Amendment, it is that government may not prohibit the expression of an idea simply because society finds the idea itself offensive or disagreeable. Justice Brennan wrote that. And I'll top it off with what Justice Scalia added. If it were up to me, I would put in jail every sandal-wearing, scruffy-bearded weirdo who burns the American flag. Scalia said at the November 2015 event in Philadelphia. But I am not king. I ask you guys think yourself king? Really? Raimundo Garcia has a personal view. Now, if you get into the history of the Pledge of Allegiance, it was all about immigrations, nationalism. That was rampant at the turn of the 20th century. And it was a way to separate Americans from others. That's some of the history that he talked about in the article that was published in the Times. There is a history to the pledge. It's not just all about patriotism. And as one guy wrote, this is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the Washington Post, one of the ironies of the way people express their patriotism is to brag about our freedoms, especially freedom of speech, but then brand as unpatriotic those who exercise this freedom to express dissatisfaction with the government's record in upholding the Constitution. Man, you can't put it better than that. Jesse Ventura, a Navy SEAL, while governor of the state of Minnesota, added that he rejected a law that
George, thank you very much. Your 3 minutes.
Did I get my 3 minutes, really?
Yeah, we have it on a timer. Thank you.
You guys must be...
Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn for this meeting because I am a king.
Councilman Higgs. Second by Councilman Spitali. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, ayes have it.
Can I get this submitted to the record?
Yeah, I want it.